Wouldn't you know? It's the top five news show. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, namely on the East Coast, where we begin the show at 5 o'clock every weekday. And you're here for the Friday edition. Appreciate you coming in. We're going to start the show right now. We'll give you five stories in 5 minutes. Um, Most people say it's the best 5 minute news show on the internet, but you decide.
Welcome to Top 5 News, 5 stories in 5 minutes.
You can't handle the top 5 news.
News you can use.
What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but have fake news?
He said that, but she told me something completely different.
That's not what he said. You're twisting his words. She's right. He said it. I heard him.
I can't use any of this.
Boys!
Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask your AI what it can do for you.
Yes, I would like to, but I don't think you watch the top 5 news. Later.
Got no job, no car, and you don't even watch the top 5 news.
Top 5 News. We respect your time.
It has to be true. I saw it on the news.
So many people say you're the smartest person in the world. Well, yes, I watch the Top 5 News show.
Best news. I watch a little bit of everything, but I would say probably the top 5 news.
Without Googling it, I would probably go with the top 5 news.
A new way to do news, focusing on useful news, and no news that gives you the blues.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joe Pelayo. I want to welcome you here to the Top 5 News Show. Come on in. We've got 5 stories plus a few bonus stories worth your sticking around for. So let's get to it. What stories are in the news tonight? We'll keep you up to date on them all. The Senate passes a $70 billion immigration bill. Strong May jobs report beats the forecast. Stock market update, jobs update, ex-CIA official detained over massive gold stash. You heard about this story? Stole the gold bars. No, really. Foxconn raises outlook on AI boom. Senate passes the $70 billion immigration bill. Let's begin there. So the Senate passed the immigration bill to fund the immigration enforcement for the rest of President Trump's term. The Republicans pushed the package through after rejecting attempts to permanently block it or limit a Trump-era settlement fund. The money goes directly to ICE, Border Patrol, and related operations. This is a significant win for the administration's border security priorities. The Democrats were largely opposed to it. The bill now moves to the House for a final vote. After a month of delays, Congress just gave immigration the enforcement and the major funding boost that they need. Story number 4 today, the U.S. jobs report, 172,000 jobs added in May, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. It's a good number, really good number, and it significantly beats the economist forecasts. When you've been in the recruiting business for more than 25 years, you've seen better numbers, but it's a good number. I think there were attempts to kind of pump it up by the administration a little bit, but all in all, it's a good number. It's a beat. It's a better than expected number. and the unemployment rate as a whole held 4.3%. Big gains in leisure, hospitality. People are enjoying themselves again. Post, COVID. Food services, big gains. Drinking places, big gains. Entertainment, best movie year in 4 years. Big gains in local government hiring. 55,000 plus jobs in healthcare. The third straight month of 100,000 or more labor gains, so it's a good headwind, and especially in light of the fact we have these, some would say artificially high oil numbers, and a little bit of Iran effect of maybe scaring some people off, and then you have the AI effect that they say that all the CEOs are a little bit shell shocked by the speed within which the AI is kind of taking over everything. But all in all, pretty good market. So why then, Joe? Story number 2: did the stocks sell off so sharply today and drop like 500? What did they drop? Dow was down 700 points today. 700. So it's a lot. It's more than 1%. However, if you look at the last 6 months, the stocks are actually up 6% for the year. And if you look at a 1 year from today, 20% rise in stocks, including today. So maybe we were due for a little bit of a pullback and a haircut on the stocks. And the only good thing about it is that the Federal Reserve will be cutting rates, or more inclined to cut interest rates, which I think they should. The AI is going to make a lot of jobs have to change, and we talked about it on previous episodes of this show that all the big companies are going to have to tighten their belt. Let's see, Wednesday, Facebook laid off 8,000 people. And we've run through the list before, and perhaps I'll go through it again. But all the big companies, and I mean the behemoth companies, are cutting people because AI is forcing a very rapid pace. And it's, you can't take those hairpin turns when you're a behemoth. The Fortune 500 companies are a little bit stuck in the short term because they got to get rid of the dead weight so they can move faster, truthfully. Like just one example we've talked about before, and more than one person wrote to me, why do you hate Google so much? I don't hate Google. It's just the perfect example of this. Google, they had up until recently, I give them credit, they got the job done, but up until recently, Google had their last update April Fool's Day, and we started jokingly calling it, when's the April Fool's update? And we're sitting here in June. That's one of the largest companies in the world. Well, they just can't move fast enough, and so they got to trim down, and not just Google, them, Facebook, you name it, big company, they got to trim right now. If you're in one of the big companies, can I suggest you start taking some AI classes? And by the way, we're going to do a free one on Tuesday. I'm not selling anything. I don't have any sell up. I'm going to try and do a demo of Grok, which is the AI I use, on Tuesday before this show. So tune in maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before. Do a little Grok demo, and we'll turn one of my articles into a video. Okay? So we'll learn how to do images and videos, and how to edit, and some other AI stuff. So I'll give you another example, okay, so you don't think I'm always only picking on Google and CNN, which I'm not. But one of the other socials, let me just not even name the name, but one of the other socials is so big that I'm getting pretty good traction now. I had about 81,000 views on the one site in the last 90 days. So like 1,000 viewers a day. It's pretty good for a startup news show, part-time, for a guy keeping his day job. But where I was going with that is their two divisions don't talk to each other. This isn't just them. This is like all the socials have problems, and some are better than others. But so one of the divisions tells me I'm not monetized, and uh, I got some things I got to fix, and the other one shows me a radar of my thing, and I'm 100% perfect, right? And the business group there has different numbers for me than the professional group. And I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to see. I don't think I can do the comments on here, which I know you think I maybe keep them off so people don't talk back to me or something, but I don't. I want to do them. I've been wanting to do them, but I've come to the conclusion in my genius that and not that. Well, I'll try the comments if anybody wants to put a one there, so I know at least know you're there, or a thumbs up or anything. Maybe that will work. It usually doesn't, but we'll try it. But I think that to do the comments, you got to do a business account, but then I'm going to be switching back and forth between accounts. And I also wonder if I would have the freedom to speak my mind as much. Like, we ran the Spencer Pratt video the other day, and I think as a business, I might have to, they might be able to say, well, you were making money on your video, which I am monetized, but I think they give you more slack if you're an individual. I could be wrong. I don't know all of it. I'll learn it as I go. Let me give you another piece of the Facebook puzzle, the behemoth company. So I found out that one of the socials, sorry, I didn't mean to name them, but one of the socials, I've joined groups while I've been on there that I can share my show into. And I've noticed I could get pretty good traction on my show. So I've joined probably 80 or 90% only shows that they suggested to me that, I should join. So you want to join this group? Okay, here's a good complimentary group to join with this group. So, okay, I joined. So over the time, I've been a member of this social for 20 years or something. And a lot of them I joined recently because I just started this new show a year ago. And you might think I don't need all this social media stuff, Joe. Get back to the good news and the business reporting and the technology breakthroughs and the AI. But you do need social media. No matter who you are, you need social media. You know why? You might have AI take your job. Okay. And guess what you're going to be doing then? Social media. Okay. And you know what else? You're employed by a company that needs social media. No buzz, no business. Have you heard that saying? So yeah, you do need to know a little bit about social media. So anyway, I found out doing and maybe somebody who this would be helpful for. Always think about others. So the thing I found out was I could take my news show and share it into those groups, the 300 groups I'm in, and I would kind of spike my traction. So that was a good thing. However, I could only share into 10 groups at a time, and I had to write a individual, introduction to each one, because if you just put the same thing for each show, you get like a spammer ding, right? So I had to write, imagine 30 different introductions to share to 300 groups 30 times, 10 at a time. Does that make sense? And then I had to, I'd write like all these different introductions to it, share it into each of the groups 10 at a time. And then I asked the support people, I got a show, it's getting pretty good traction. Could you give me a bump on my shareability, like where I would share more than 10 groups at a time? So, I'm on the chat, and it was like when you call one of them numbers and you get the foreign guy that like, okay, sir, let me make sure I understand your question. And what you're asking is, can you share into more than 10 groups at a time on the platform? And I'm like, yeah, isn't that what I just asked? And, oh yeah, I just want to confirm, sir. Okay, hang on, sir. So like, hang on, I'm checking with somebody. Like 5, 7, 8 minutes, right? Like there's no way I would have waited for that. It just so happened to be where the phone wasn't ringing, and I'm just like, so like 8 minutes later, after I swore I'd never call their help department again, I get the thing back from the guy on the chat, I don't mean call, but I chat. And he says, no, sir, you can't share it to more than 10 groups at a time. You could have told me that eight minutes ago. But they did turn on some things for me. Like I said, I'm grateful for 81,000 views, 1,000 a day. You know, it's okay. I'm getting paid. It's not a lot. And this isn't my full-time job. But I'm doing this news show, and I love doing the show for you. I love getting the news. I love bringing it to you. I love doing the little grok videos that we do and other people do. But it's not easy, you know. And okay, so the other part of it is the 300 groups that I'm in. I have to share 10 at a time, and I can't just share them. Boom, boom, boom. You got to wait like 15 minutes in between each. Otherwise, you're a spammer. Okay, and let me give you the other piece. This is way more than you signed up for. But so let's say, oh, okay, so I got the word back from the chatbot person. I think it was a human, because what chat program would make you wait 8 minutes? So I got the word back on that, and then I said, okay, can you do me a favor? I've been sharing into groups, okay? And I don't do it every day, but some days I have time. One weekend, I did it the whole weekend long almost, 30 sends, 15, 20 minutes spaced apart, right, to different groups. And I got good traction, but I mean, who has time to do that? And you might say, well, you could hire a assistant or something, Joe, to do that. Yeah, I could, but I like to know what's going on. How am I going to hire a social media expert if I don't know social media, right? So anyway, I'm learning, and I probably will do that. But the other piece of it was I said, well, can you find all the groups that I've shared my news show into, and the ones that haven't reshared it, take me out of those groups. Because if they don't share your group, or they delete it, your show, they delete it, now you get dinged also on the show social. They say, no, we can't do that, sir. Okay, so now I'm supposed to share into 300 groups, 10 at a time, 15 minutes spaced apart, and you're not going to tell me which ones like my show and which ones don't? That doesn't make any sense at all. So that's how screwed up some of these big companies are. And that's not a knock on that company. I'm just telling you, the really big companies, they have no chance. Because see, if that was like a 50-person company, and they say, hey, one of our upstart creators wants some help, you just invite the guy out to lunch, right? Or you just call him, you just concierge him, right? Or you get a human on the phone with the guy and say, hey, we like what you're doing, and you're in those 81,000 views, and we're going to keep promoting you if you follow the rules or whatever, which you don't know when you're breaking the rules either. But anyway, man, it was a tirade. You still there? Anybody? All right, thanks. Let's keep going. Where was I? How do we get off on all that? Oh, the big companies. Yeah, the big companies all need to trim the fat. Goodness sakes. Get people in there who know what they're doing and can make a decision and who are smart. You can't go wrong hiring smart people. Get a good recruiter and hire really good people. All right, so the White House highlighted the positive momentum in the stock market, and the index fell 700 points as investors interpreted the good jobs report as less incentive for the Fed to reduce the inflation rate. So it's, in a way, it's kind of a good thing that the stock market falls, because if it falls right with the right timing with the Fed's meeting, is it next week or the week after? Next week, I think. Next Thursday, right? I could be off a week. No, it's 2 weeks out. Anyway, the Fed's going to meet and reduce the interest rates if they think it's needed to juice the economy. That means your mortgage is lower, your car payment's lower, businesses can borrow money easier. It's really a good thing. And they've had kind of an artificial cap on that with the guy that Trump calls too slow, Jerome Powell. I don't get into all that too, because I'm already running overtime. But hopefully the new Fed chair will have a little more flexibility to allow politics to get out of the way and just allow the administration to reduce the interest rates so the economy can start humming like crazy, and maybe we can have that crazy GDP Trump talked about in the golden age, right? That we would have 4, 5, 6, 7% GDP. China's done it many times. It's not pie in the sky. It's like get the policies right, get the interest rates down, and get businesses moving. We've had it before. So good times ahead potentially. NASDAQ down, tech, everything down. It was one of the worst days of the year on the stock market. But keep it in perspective. We did have a 20% run upward in the stock market in the last 1 year. So yes, Nvidia fell, Broadcom fell. A lot of the big names that you read about that are booming, yeah, they got to go back down. So that's about that. Here's a fun story. I waited. This story broke in May. I waited to tell you about it because it sounded so CNN. I just knew it was fake news CNN, and then I saw it on one of the more normal, networks, and I still thought, guys, normally that news network tells the truth, but I'm gonna wait. So story number 2 tonight, and I'm usually out in front of most of the news, but this one I'm a little behind because I wanted to make sure I wasn't just telling you some crazy story, right? Like a pure CNN, pure play baloney sandwich, right? So here's the story, and it's verified. There's an ex-CIA official. I'm sure many of you have heard about this, but this guy David Rush was ordered detained. He had 40 million gold bars. Oh man, talk about fraud, theft, and abuse. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but guy had 40 million in gold bars in his house. Okay, and the former CIA officer David Rush was arrested after the FBI searched his Virginia home and uncovered 303 gold bars worth more than 40 million, plus about 2 million in cash and 35 luxury watches and many Rolexes. See, and I read that and I was like, that's, as Scott Adams used to say, he would see a story like that and he would go, that's a little too on the nose, And I just thought it was BS, but no, apparently this is the real deal. Allegedly, he stole the gold and the foreign currency from the agency, requesting it for, quote, work-related expenses. Write your own punchline. Oh my, what are we doing, country? Come on, can't we get it together and keep people from stealing 303 gold bars and running, daycares with no kids in them and all this stuff? Oh my goodness, what a waste. I hope we can rein in some of this fraud, waste, and abuse. Well, additional claims about him lying about his educational background and a fake Navy pilot career. The story just goes on, but those lies netted him extra $77,000 a year, and he held top secret clearance, and he worked on sensitive programs, and he's being held in custody, and a judge ordered pretrial detention with some hearings coming up and some classified sessions where he'll, chat with some of the investigators and whatnot. Unbelievable. Only in America, as Don King would say. 303 gold bars. But you can't wait for the movie. Story number 1 tonight, Foxconn. Do you remember this company? Is the company ever saying, oh, they're stealing all our technology? Maybe they were, I don't know. But Foxconn, the reason I think it's significant, I put it as number 1. I have a couple bonus stories, but Foxconn, the giant company, it's about the 20th largest company in the world, depending on who you talk to, and they power Apple and Nvidia and a lot of the AI companies, and they're Foxconn. They're known as Han High Precision Industries, also known as, and they raised their second quarter outlook. So the company said They expect to come in well above the previous forecast, which was already significant growth. So the reason that matters is Foxconn, as one of the largest electronics contract manufacturers in the United States, in the world, they generate about 250 billion a year in revenue. I employ about 1 million people. It's just a good barometer, to have a big company like that saying, hey, it's going to be a lot bigger sales than we thought. And you look at them, you look at, NVIDIA, you look at Apple, and Google had big earnings, and Facebook. All these companies are coming in with good earnings. Market cap sits at 130 billion, 100 to 130 billion. Doesn't make its own branded products. It just manufactures for other companies, like, for example, the iPhone equipment, like we talked about. And so, you have a big company that's winning, and that's a good thing. Let's see here. Just got some more details on the company that I don't think you want. Yeah, we'll skip that. Got a couple of extra stories here. So, story one, nobody took me up on my NBA challenge. If you want to bet $20, even though the Knicks won the first game, I'll still take the Spurs. Just put in the comments. I want $20 worth. Hopefully we're allowed free speech enough to bet a friend $20. See, that's the other reason maybe I don't want to be, corporate account. So put in the comments, I'll take New York Knicks. Are you scared, New York Knicks fans? You're scared, aren't you? I know you're scared. You got that front row guy who sits out there and talks a lot of stuff for you. You got all the stars there and stuff, but yeah, you ain't gonna back them for 20. No, you're scared. Put a bet in the comments, and I'll take up to $500 worth at $20 at a time. No more than 20. Hopefully we're allowed to do that, and I won't get demonetized and dinged and crazy. NBA and the Stanley Cup Finals underway. Sports update: the New York Knicks lead the San Antonio Spurs 1-0. Game 2 tonight, 8:30 Eastern on ABC and in San Antonio. The Stanley Cup Finals, Carolina. Is that really a hockey town? Carolina Hurricanes. And this is even worse, the Vegas Golden Knights. Nobody skates ice in Vegas. Well, they have a team, I guess. Good luck to the Golden Knights and the Carolina Hurricanes. 1-1 after a dramatic Game 2 that went into overtime. Game 3 is tomorrow night. Good time for some of the sports fans. Meanwhile, the Billionaire Club is lining up for Sotheby's highest high-end auction of all time. The collectibles market is robust. Sotheby's held a major modern art auction in New York that totaled over 300 million, much stronger than last year, led by works from Matisse, am I saying it right, Picasso, and Van Gogh. Recent contemporary evening and Munchen collection. All them highfalutin dudes will make fun of me. Munchen. Combined for over 433 million in sales. Upcoming marquee events. Evening auction in London, blah, blah, blah. Private collection, watches. What do you need a watch for? You wear a watch? You got your phone. Demand for blue chip art, rare wines, luxury collectibles continues to hold up well. Top of the market. Bonus story. Benchmark Venture Capital shifts strategy. One of Silicon Valley's most iconic early venture firms is changing how they're doing things. They're betting on companies. They're known for their early bets on companies like Uber, Twitter, eBay. They're now allocating more capital to more mature startups and companies that are in the later stages, closer to IPO. The shift comes as the interest rates find companies looking for a more selective funding environment. They got more money to spend, I guess. Early stages are more riskier, but these late stages, you have to have more money. Anyway, big name VCs are adapting into deploying larger checks into the more growth stage companies, usually in an area often reserved for the PE companies, but the lines are blurring between the VC and the PE companies a little bit. So the VCs, some of them are not just the pure play early bets anymore. But you still have the, the startup home run home run unicorn companies, that they all want to get. Well, that's it for the news. Your main stories for today. You can look all you want, but that's pretty much sums everything up. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you like this straight talk, no nonsense style, hit the subscribe button. Join us every weekday at 5 Eastern. And as we wrap up, a word from my favorite book to encourage you. See, I'm doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness, and I'm making streams in the wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. And as the great Paul Harvey used to say, good day.